Good morning, ladies. Hope you're doing well. I would like to say welcome to Module 153. So we're going into our CPT. We're leaving our ICD-10 and we're going into our CPT. But I don't want you to be discouraged if you feel like you still have more to learn in the ICD-10 because we will be making all of these codes work together. So I am actually going to give you your little lecture for the beginning of Chapter 8, and I'm only going to be covering the first 4 objectives. Now, if you're wondering what I mean by objectives, I'm going to grab my book right here and show you. If you look at the front of every chapter, you have objectives, and you can see I've highlighted mine, and I am going to go through 1 through 4 objectives. So we're going to try a little bit different way of lecturing where I'm just hitting the objectives for that day instead of lecturing the whole chapter, letting you read it and then listen to the lecture again, or some of the other the ways that we've done it. So we're going to do this one a little different. So I'm actually going to share my screen for you. And we're going to get into our Google Slides. So this is welcome to Module 153, Chapter 8. So these are the 4 objectives that we're going to be hitting today. Identify the uses of the CPT manual. Name the developers of the CPT manual. Identify placement of the CPT codes on the CMS 1500 paper insurance form. If you'll think back, you guys actually watched a video on that on Tuesday. And know the importance of using the current year CPT manual. So let's start with objective 1. Identify the uses of the CPT manual. So CPT codes are used to describe tests, surgeries, evaluations, and any other medical procedure performed by a healthcare provider on a patient. As you might imagine, this code set is extremely large and includes the codes for thousands upon thousands of medical procedures. CPT codes are they're an integral part of the billing process. CPT codes tell the insurance payer what procedures the healthcare provider would like to be reimbursed for. As such, CPT codes work in tandem with ICD-10 codes to create a full picture of the medical process for the payer. This patient arrived with these symptoms as represented by the ICD-10 code book, and we performed these procedures, which is represented by the CPT codes. Okay, so CPT codes are what we have done, where ICD-10 codes are why did we need to do this, and what were the signs and symptoms. CPT codes are used as a sort of shorthand for third-party payers. What are third-party payers? There are insurance companies, right? Here's a bonus question. What is the largest third-party payer in the United States? It's Medicare. That's a very, very important piece of information you need to know. It will be on your NCCT. So Medicare is the largest third-party payer in the United States. Name the developers of the CPT manual. The AMA first developed and published the CPT in 1966. The first edition helped encourage the use of standard terms and descriptors to document procedures in the medical record, help communicate accurate information on procedures and services to agencies concerned with insurance claims, and provided the basis for the computer-oriented system to evaluate operative procedures and contribute basic information for actuarial and statistical purposes. So the AMA first developed the CPT in 1966. That's important to know. Identify placement of CPT codes on the CMS 1500 paper insurance form. This is what I want you to understand. The 1500 form that we've watched the video on and we're looking at in our books on page 2019, step by step, you're on 193, 2020. Step by step, you're on 199. When you look at that, the CMS 1500 form is a paper form. This is a paper claim. So if you look in your book on page 199 or 193, depending on which book you're in, if you take a look at line 24D, and I'm just going to give you a little pointer. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the numbers right there towards the bottom. If you look over to the right of those numbers, you're going to see the letter D, procedures, services, or supplies. So that is where your CPT codes are going to be plugged in. Right beside that are going to be your modifiers. And as we go further into this book, we're going to learn about modifiers. So I'm just giving you a little heads up that there will be modifiers that are going to go along with your CPT codes. If your CPT codes are the roads on your map, your modifiers will be your street signs. And that's all that I will say about that, except that they're found in the front cover of your CPT manual. Number 4, know the importance of using the current year CPT manual. Why would you think it is important to keep up with current CPT manual changes? Well, the medical field is ever evolving. The CPT updates annually and the changes take effect January 1st of the next year. Your CPT updates annually and the updates take effect of January 1st of the next year. That is so very important for you guys to remember. Now, does it mean that you have to buy a brand new manual every year? Well, no, it doesn't mean that. It just means that you need to get online, search for the updated codes, and then you would make notes in your manual until it got to the point where if there were too many changes, you may want to update your manuals. So we're going to talk about some fun facts about the CPT. CPT stands for Current Procedural Terminology. It's always 5 digits. Some of our category 2 and 3 codes, which you're going to talk about, have letters, but in general, it's 5 numbers. It's broken down into categories. Your CPT is broken down into categories. Category 1 codes are used most often, and they are payable. Golly, guys, tongue-tied today. They are payable. They're what the doctor sends in to get paid. Okay, category 1 codes are divided into 6 sections: evaluation and management, anesthesia, surgery, which is the largest, radiology, path and lab, and number 6 is medicine. Guys, that is spelled wrong, so please forgive me. I will update that spelling. I don't know what happened there. So let's talk about category 2 and 3 codes. Category 2 codes are developed to simply report of performance measures and eliminate the need for chart abstraction. These supplemental tracking codes are used by physicians and hospitals to report specific services that contribute to the positive outcomes and high quality care. Here's some example: hypertension, blood pressure controlled. 3074F, most recent systolic blood pressure, and then it gives you the numbers. These codes are not payable. Now, why would you send in codes that are not able to be paid for? Well, it's simply for reporting measures so that they can be captured. So if the CDC wants to know how many people in the United States has a blood pressure higher than 130, well, how are they ever going to find out if the doctors don't actually do category 2 codes? Now, I'm not going to lie to you. As a coder, I never used category 2 codes. But if you are expected to use those, you're going to know where to find them. Category 3 codes are temporary codes that describe emerging and experimental technologies, services, and procedures. They are not payable. Doesn't mean they're not billable, but they're not going to get any money for these. I'm going to give you an example. O1O2T, extracorporeal shockwave high energy performance by a physician requiring anesthesia other than local, involving lateral humeral epicondyle. And it says, see the Medicare Advantage policy guideline titled ESWT. So that's just an example, okay? Where do you go to find these category 2 and 3 codes? Well, I would like for you to explore your CPT, and you're going to find those before your index, because in your CPT, the index is not in the front, it's in the back. But you're going to find category 2 and 3 codes will be there. So here are some questions that I would like for you to answer and submit your answers for. Okay, so give me just a second, guys. I have misplaced here. Well, it's not misplaced, it's under here. I want for you to take the time today, and you see how I have labeled my CPT? Well, the CPT is a little generous. It's going to give you, when you open up your front cover, it's going to give you these little tabs. And I would like for you guys to go ahead and to begin to tab your CPTs along with the 5 questions I just gave you and your homework and other things you have to do today. I would like for you to send me a picture of your tabbed CPT. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.